Okay, nice to see you, Felix, for this little podcast style. I see you try to make more video again on your YouTube channel. It's very cool. I like it, and it gave me also some energy to get back on it. So I start to do some more analyze, and yeah, we know both actually that it's a good way to promote our sport and share information. So thanks for doing this. Um,
Well, thanks for having me. First of all, yeah, always cool to get to talk a bit. Also, besides the racing, I mean, we just spent 2 weeks in Italy together at the European Championships. But yeah, we're so busy with racing sometimes that you don't really end up getting to talk too much.
yeah.
And yeah, as you said, YouTube is actually, for me personally, like probably my favorite social media. And it's a lot of work to do it regularly and to do it proper. Yeah, I cannot promise to do it every week or not even every month, but I try to be whenever I find some time and whenever I find somebody to film a bit, then I try also to put some videos online. And yeah, at the moment I'm doing it. I think I just recorded one of my trainings, like a motor pacing session, and I should go online tomorrow or maybe the day after. And yeah, something little bit different, a bit longer video, but with GPS data and heart rate data and stuff like that. And yeah, maybe some people find it interesting.
Yeah, it's nice. I saw you're doing more short also, and it's really good to promote the sport. I wanted that we start talking a bit about the European Championship
Hmm.
because it was actually quite high level this year. I felt the for the
Yeah.
senior in long distance, also in sprint. But when I see the elimination race, the point race on the track with guys like Bart, Jason, and so on,
Yeah.
we can feel the level is really high again. So.
Yeah, definitely. Probably for me, I don't know if I ever done a European Championship with a higher long distance level personally. Was super challenging on track, on road, in a marathon. Yeah, you could feel it actually everywhere, and yeah, not easy to get into the medals in a championship like this.
Yeah, how did you train like a bit before the championship? Did you make like a classic training that you do every year for this, or did you adjust a little bit because of the ice things
Yeah,
coming?
no, for sure. I with my first full season on the ice, a full World Cup season, European Championships, and then the Olympics. Yeah, I had to adjust a bit, and I couldn't do my regular preparation. I had to delay everything a bit, like basically go into spring without much training, or let's say without much skate training, because it's not like I was not trained, but yeah, I think I need a bit more time on my skates to be able to go fast and not only go with the diesel engine, as you always say, but also to get some speed in the legs. And yeah, I feel also the older I get, the more time it takes to go fast. So yeah, I did some adjustments, and obviously also in the summer now, I didn't completely forget about ice skating. Let's say every week I had some sessions which were basically targeted for the winter. Let's say some longer bike rides and some more intervals also on the bike, which are definitely not ideal to prepare, let's say, a European Championship. But it's a year after Olympics, and it's also the time to try some stuff. And for sure, I learned already a lot. I think some things worked and other things didn't work perfectly. But the most important thing is to take those lessons and hopefully then make the next season even better.
Yeah. So what was more difficult? Like we spoke a little bit about it already together during the championship when you were on the track compared to other seasons where you were fully specific to inline. What was the difficult part when you jump on the track this year, for example?
For me, it was basically the speed and the acceleration. Like I was okay with in the points elimination, for example, just to follow the pack. That's all good. And I could probably do it not only 10K, I could probably do it 20K, let's say. But to get that little bit extra speed, you need to break away or even to pass, like even to get into the first 2-3 positions to be able to get points. I didn't have the acceleration. I didn't have the speed like some of those other guys. And then, yeah, obviously the track in L'Aquila is not easy. It's super narrow. There is not many passing opportunities. Let's say the general speed is super high. Like, yeah, Vesmaco obviously did a very good job there. They tried something a little bit different with how they laid the surface there. And so it was super grippy and still very good roll. And you can see it in the lap times. And yeah, then if some of those guys, they have a flying lap, which is probably half a second faster than mine, that makes my life difficult, let's say.
Yeah.
And I really got to experience this in the racing.
Yeah.
And
It's interesting, this point, because I think it's hard for people to realize that you can train every day sometime and feel super strong, even stronger physically. I have the feeling you're physically even stronger than before. It was already amazing, but it's like you develop again. But in our sport, when we miss this little extra speed, it's like everything get more complex tactically, basically.
for sure, yeah, basically you're kind of blocked for different tactics, like you said. I had no chance, for example, to go in the first 15-20 laps, even try for a sprint. There was no chance. Like,
that's crazy to hear this.
I could have gone all in on one single lap or one single sprint, and I wouldn't get a point. So just to put in perspective, like how important for those track races the speed is. And yeah, obviously the French guys and Bart and Jason, they played it very well. They were very balanced, let's say, with their endurance, but also with their speed on a very good level. And yeah, that's how you can get into the medals in a race like that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, I think it's very hard to realize how much this little detail of final. It's not only acceleration; it's acceleration at high speed, because we already almost go at 16 seconds per lap, but you have to go from 16.0 to 15.5 in. And this is very hard to get, actually. It's, like you say, especially on this Vesmaco track in L'Aquila, it's more narrow, longer straight line, a bit narrow track. So it made it, I think, difficult. For me, there was one race I was quite impressed. It was the elimination race. But I was not impressed, let's say, by the speed and stuff, but the level was so high that there was so many faults in this race. So I was badly impressed with all it's a strange feeling for this race, because I like it a lot, and at some point I feel, oh, it's get almost dangerous. So what was your feeling inside this pack?
Yeah, it was also not my favorite race, let's say. Obviously I didn't get the performance which I wanted, but yeah, it is like you said, like all the super fast guys, they're in the first 5-6 positions, and everyone else behind is basically fighting like crazy. And most of those guys, let's say in the middle of the pack, were not really able to go to the front. And then it was just like, hands everywhere. And basically every lap you had a hand on your hip, or got pushed somewhere, or blocked somewhere, or pulled somewhere. And I think it's extreme on a narrow track like this. Yeah, but also we needed a bit stricter judging. Like the judges were too easy with warnings and even disqualifications, because if the judges are strict, especially in the beginning of the race, you feel it in the pack. Everybody gets more cautious. Nobody wants to get free warnings. Nobody wants to get a spots fault. Nobody wants to get eliminated and even blocked for the next race. So yeah, I think it was a combination of different things, like maybe that the peloton was kind of with two speeds. Like the good guys were very good, and then there was a whole lot of people in the middle of the pack. The track super narrow, and the judging not really up to the level of the skaters, let's say.
Yeah.
And I think those led to not so perfect racing.
I did this morning. I prepared a video on this race specifically, and I will probably release it next week. And
Mm-hmm.
not to defend also the referee, but when I was watching this race, not only live like I did during championship, but it goes so fast you almost cannot tell. And there was so many little fight. Who you give the warning to? I mean,
Yeah,
it was one warning every 3 seconds if you want to do the
yeah,
job. So
yeah,
it's almost impossible for the referee to do it. And there is one rules in the that I think is blocking also the referee. Maybe I'm wrong about it, but when you DQ a skater and then it becomes a sports fault, and then he's
yeah,
DQ for the race and for the next one. So it's very hard for the referee to take the
yeah,
decision. Do you think it would be back to come back to just DQ straight? It would.
yeah.
It's difficult.
Yeah, maybe there would need to be like sort of two levels, like that you can get disqualified, but let's say the offense was not super bad, and you get only disqualified for that race, and then there's maybe a second level. Let's say there's punching or really bad grabbing or something in the final of the race, that you get then not only get disqualified but also blocked for the next race. Maybe that would be kind of the solution. And obviously you're right, like to be a referee is not an easy job. Sometimes it's easy for us to say we focus on a small group of the peloton, or even when I'm inside the race, I see a lot more than watching from the outside. Nevertheless, I think the judging at the championship was not perfect, and I'm not saying that it's on purpose or something, but I think also the judges need to find ways to improve and try to make it better for the future. Same thing goes for the skaters. Also, the skaters should try to.
We all make fault. I mean, the coach they make fault in the tactic, the skater they make fault during the race, the referee they make fault in the decision too.
For sure,
there is not a system where everything will be perfect.
no,
Coach, athletes, and referee will make.
Be honest, it would also make our sport boring. Like that's also what I like about inline speed skating. That there are those conflicts, and there are those possibilities that not always the strongest guy wins, because there are those little mistakes from all sides, and that also makes it cool. But if it gets too much, then it gets frustrating.
For me, this race was too much. Actually, when I rewatched the race, I saw you got eliminated by fault.
Yeah.
One. And I could find the fault you did. I think it was on one Portuguese skater. And you were on the outside, and he came to you and blocked you, and you kind of put him back a little bit.
Yeah.
Then that's how you got. It was a good decision because they could have DQ.
Yeah.
But when they DQ like this, there would be a sports fault, and you basically all the track championship is finished.
Yeah.
I think that was very good decision at this moment, that they eliminated you by fault. I think that was a nice option they used.
And you also, or maybe if you watch a race like this, you have to understand, like, you cannot just look at one action, because for me personally, I felt like 6 or 8 laps before, I was too far back. I was in the danger of getting eliminated. And every time on the final straight, I got hands somewhere and I got pulled somewhere. And and then you do 2 times nothing, you do 3 times nothing, you do maybe 4 times nothing. And then at some point you just and you also think like, okay, if everybody is using the hands, I start the same. And then it really needs the judges to take a decision. And Yeah,
I mean,
I'm not saying I'm the super clean guy who never does anything wrong. Like, not at all. Don't get me wrong.
this
But
race it was impossible. I mean, if I was in that race, I would have done exactly the same
yeah,
because it's not that you want to do fault. It's more you have to protect yourself.
yeah,
It
yeah.
become defense, and
And it's also like you get pulled, and your first reaction is you look for somebody you can pull back,
yeah,
because it's like, shit, I'm losing my speed, I'm losing my position. How can I protect myself? Okay, I grab somewhere.
mm, yeah.
That's
So
just how the brain works in those
yeah,
situations.
I think it's a good race for the referee to learn, and
Yeah,
it's if they understand how they can uh, control also the pack at the beginning of the race. I mean, the first laps are very important, and
yeah,
when they see the skater are too motivated, let's say, then they
yeah,
have
yeah,
to give a lot of warnings at the beginning.
exactly. Yeah,
And if they see that everybody is doing correct or there is enough space on the track, then they
yeah,
can be more quiet. But it's very hard to take those decisions. And when I watch that race again, if I was a referee, I would have done better probably also. And but this time, I think this race was little too much, and on the road it was way more clean.
yeah, for
There was a
sure.
lot of space, and it was different championship.
Yeah,
There is one thing I really like in that championship is like you never give up from race to race. I mean, you struggle, uh, you're
yeah,
world champion, and you're on the track like almost like a normal middle guy, if I can say like this,
yeah,
and you never give up because you know that at some point the medal can come. And I really like because at the marathon you still fight like it's the first race and you get the medal. So I'd like to know what is, and if we can try to help some other skater to understand this spirit, how to not give up during a 1 week championship. Is it a quality needed for top skating?
yeah. I think so, because like in our sport, it's very rare that everything goes to plan. And especially in a championship, there will be always problems. Like even Bart and Jason, for even for them, not everything went to plan. They had an awesome championship, but at some point there were mistakes, and there were problems with the tactics, or there were maybe not always the results they wanted to have, and so on. And yeah, it's super easy to shut down and give up. But yeah, it's as you said in the meeting before, and as I also heard from other coaches before, the championship is only over when you cross the finish line of the marathon. And I believe it's a strong quality to keep the focus and to keep the motivation during 3 days of track, 2 days of road, all those rest days, which were also not easy to handle, and then really like until you finish your marathon. And yeah, lots of skaters, or lots of athletes in general, they struggle to keep the focus for so long, and maybe they struggle also how to deal with like mishaps, which will happen at some point. And yeah, I'm not saying it was easy for me. It was maybe like mentally was maybe my hardest championship I ever had to do, because yeah, I came to Italy, and all my last weeks of training and Flanders and so on was going really well, and my times were looking good, and I felt strong. And then you get on the track, and suddenly it doesn't work like you were imagining it in your head. And that's not an easy pill to swallow. Like it's definitely cost me some hours of sleep also during that championship. But yeah, then it's important to have people around you who believe in you. You played also an important role in this. And yeah, then never give up. Like that's it's easier said than done, but yeah, this time it worked. And yeah, as you said, like I had to work really hard for it also. Like
Yeah. And like you say that before the championship, you know your times is basically every year you have reference and you know, okay, if I do these times, I will probably get this result at championship. Is it working like this?
Yeah, kind of. More or less. Like obviously, it doesn't work 100% because maybe if you're training guysing, then you can get close to it. But even there, you have sometimes super fast days and sometimes not so fast days. Temperature plays a role, air pressure plays a role, how clean the track is or how dirty it is plays a role. And for me personally, the challenge I had was that we got a new West Marco track in Grosgero, which is obviously super great, but that meant also that all my times from the past basically they meant nothing anymore because the track got faster, but I don't know how by how much. I
Yeah.
can see a bit like I train sometimes with Simon Albrecht, and then I can know more or less how much faster he is in a flying lap or how close I should be, and then you can try to judge a little bit. But yeah, it was a bit of an unknown, and but also more or less like how your legs should feel, how your body should feel, if you're recovered or fatigued and so on. And for me everything was kind of going to plan. And yeah, I guess the only mistake I made was that I didn't put enough focus on my speed work, and a bit too much just training the endurance and the intervals and the engine, let's say.
Mm.
And yeah, I realized pretty quickly that focus was too one-sided for the championship.
Yeah.
And yeah, then you cannot really change it anymore. I just had to grab every opportunity I got, and I tried. In the last race, it worked.
Yeah. No, it's nice. I don't remember exactly which position you get on the track or even on the road, but it was more almost close to top 10, more or less.
Yeah, eight, then on road sixth.
Yeah.
So yeah, not like bad results.
Mm.
And as we said, like this European Championship, I think it's close to World Championship the level. So, and what also, yeah, some people don't realize is that often in the past I struggled more at the European Championship than at the World Championship, because at Euros you have three skaters per country.
Yeah.
So you have three strong Italians, you have three strong French, you have three strong Belgians, and so on. And as a German guy, usually we're there with one or two guys. Um, from the team, we had one of the stronger years from the long distance team, but still we are not on the level of, let's say, a French team.
If you are two skater compared to three skater, it's 33%
Yeah,
less.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
it makes big difference. It's like 30, more than 30% difference in a team. It's very hard to balance actually. So
it's super tough.
mm,
And yeah, then in the worlds, there's only two per country, and that makes a big difference already. Also, from the tactics the teams can use, they are way more careful with what they chase down or when they go to the front and stuff. And then, even as a single skater, you have more opportunities. And yeah, I felt this year especially that, especially the strong teams, they really got also three strong skaters now. In the
yeah.
past, it was sometimes they have one or sometimes two good guys, and the third one is more or less to fill it up. But yeah, it's not like this
If you have
anymore.
a three Belgium, three French, three Italian, you the best position you can get is or first or 10
Yeah,
already. So
yeah,
it's very different game. Do you think actually? I was thinking this. I was also watching a lot the Pan American game,
yeah.
the Pan American competition in Ibagué, Colombia at the moment. And I'm not sure if they have two or three skater there. But do you think it would be good that we go to European Championship with two skater?
Yeah, I think it would not be a bad change actually.
It, it,
Um,
it's not maybe needed for all races, but if I take the situation of the elimination race and looking at this, maybe we could have one or two race with two skater and one or two race with three skater. The point race, it's maybe not bad to have three skater, so you can have a helper who fill the gap or work tactically, and it's usually more clean race. But I was thinking this weekend actually, what if we had just two skaters for the elimination at European? There is enough country, there is enough level that could work almost.
Yeah, maybe because in some of the younger categories, I think it's they are not so full,
Yeah.
so maybe it's needed to have three from each country. But in the senior categories, especially in the long distance, I guess it would not be a bad idea.
Mm.
Yeah, obviously, probably if you ask a French guy or Italian guy, they will say no, no, no,
No,
that's
of
a
course.
bad idea. But if I try to be neutral in this, I think it would. I think it would make the racing more attractive. In the sprints, I would say it's probably not needed, especially in the time trials. I guess it's not needed. But yeah, for long distance races, why not?
Yeah.
Would be would be a good change.
No, that's maybe good idea. Did you watch a bit the PanAm competition? In,
I was following the results. I didn't see so much of the live racing. You just sent me the link for the marathon, so I was watching the finish of the women's marathon and the finish of the men's marathon. And yeah, it's quite funny. Like you can see completely different dynamics in the Pan Ams compared, let's say, to a European Championship. Um, but yeah, cool to see, and I was yeah super happy to see Erin Jackson doing so well. Like after her Olympic gold medal, putting back her inlines and yeah, winning I think 3 or 4 races,
it's
doing
like
super
the
super
she's
good.
doing like Bart actually in the sprint
Yeah,
version for America continent. It's
super impressive, and God, that's so nice. Also that those skaters like they reach an Olympic gold medal, but they don't forget where they come from. And the yeah, Erin. I mean, it's crazy, but I even read that she will do worlds on inlines,
that would be
and
cool.
so I think she will do inline worlds and then go straight to the ice World Cups. And yeah, how cool is that?
This is
And
great. Yeah.
there
We
would
need
be so
more of
much more.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, there
And
would be so
also,
much more of this if the dates would fit better.
yeah,
It's a pity that really the ISU and World Skate that they are not communicating about this. I don't say that it's easy, but there must be a better way than having inline worlds in November. Like that's
yeah.
just
Yeah,
wrong.
that could be some good option to if the two federation cooperate. That could be good. There
Yeah,
is something I liked also in the way they organize the race in Ibage is there is also the competition for the club at the same time, and then
yeah,
for the marathon, it's like the open marathon for everybody. It make the marathon actually super cool also.
and it makes also the competition bigger.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I was thinking the same and thinking, okay, how cool would be a European Championship actually if you had, let's say, the same amount of skaters again,
hmm,
but in the open club category.
yeah,
Like
and
wow, it would be so much bigger, and yeah, maybe also a way let's say for federation and for organizer to make some extra money, which then can be also invested into the sport again and into
exactly.
better coverage. And as we talked about many times, this also needed to bring our sport to a wider audience.
Yeah.
And maybe that's one of the ways it could work.
Yeah, for me, we could have easily even just the senior category. So we could focus the media and the show on this. And on
Yeah,
the side, the senior clubs event during the day to create, let's say, economic system around it.
yeah,
And actually could work very good. It's also opportunity for the skater that come for clubs to watch the race, to realize the difference of level from a national championship to a European championship.
yeah.
And I think it could be a good concept. Never thought about this before I saw what the Pan American club and country event they did, but I really like the idea.
No, it's super cool. I mean, they are not doing it every year. I think it's
No,
every 2 or even every 4 years. I'm not sure.
yeah,
I think it's every 2 years. So that makes it also a little bit easier, I guess, to yeah organize and make it happen. But yeah, that's something World Skate Europe could look into, and yeah, try to help grow the sport like that.
yeah, that would be good. Okay, Felix, thank you for the time. It's already almost half an hour. Thank you a lot for doing those talk. I think it's sharing good information for most of the people who look at it. And I invite people to check your channel again. It's doing really great. I'm curious to see the moto pacing training. I always my favorite training back in the days. And we will see you again in Berlin in 1 week.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for inviting me, and yeah, talk to you soon.
See you soon. Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.